The next war for global dominance will not be fought in the vacuum of space, nor on the battlefields of Europe. It is beginning right now, in a place so hostile that silence itself has a physical weight. Deep below the western Pacific lies a scar in the Earth's crust, the Mariana Trench. For decades, we believed this was a lifeless void, a desert of crushing darkness. We were wrong. Inside this abyss, scientists have uncovered a reality that defies biological logic. But they found something else, too. They found the keys to the next century of economic power, genetic codes that could rewrite medicine, rare earth minerals that control the energy grid, and a race between superpowers to claim them before the other side does. The ocean floor is no longer just a frontier, it is a battlefield, and the descent starts now. To understand the stakes, you must understand the scale. The Challenger Deep lies 11 kilometers down. If you severed Mount Everest at sea level and dropped it into this trench, its summit would still be drowned by 2 kilometers of black water. As we descend past the surface layer, the sunlight vanishes. By 200 meters, we are in the twilight zone. By 1,000, the midnight zone. Here, the pressure is no longer just water, it is a crushing hydraulic vice. At the bottom, the force is equivalent to 8 tons per square inch. It should be impossible for complex machinery to survive here, let alone life. And yet, in November 2020, the Chinese submersible Fendu-J, or Striver, didn't just touch the bottom, it stayed there. It began a systematic harvest of the ocean floor. This wasn't a sightseeing tour, it was a heist. The submersible extracted sediment samples from the Hadal Zone, bringing up mud that had been isolated for eons. When laboratories analyzed these samples, the results sent shockwaves through the scientific community. The trench wasn't dead. It was teeming with a hidden universe. The samples contained over 7,000 distinct microbial species. 90% of them were completely unknown to science. But it wasn't just the number of species, it was what they could do. Life at this depth faces a constant assault. The pressure threatens to shatter cellular structures, the cold attempts to freeze metabolic processes. To survive, these organisms have evolved genetic architectures unlike anything on the surface. They possess supercharged DNA repair mechanisms, biological instruction manuals that constantly rebuild their own cells, fixing errors the moment they occur. They don't just survive damage, they negate it. This is where the science ends and the economy begins. Imagine a pharmaceutical compound derived from these microbes that halts cellular degradation in humans, a treatment for cancer or a way to slow the aging process itself. This isn't science fiction, it is the new biotechnology. Whoever holds the patents to these genetic sequences holds the blueprint for the next generation of medicine. It is biological gold. And right now, the race to catalog, patent, and monetize these life forms is happening in secret. But biology is only the first layer of the prize. Scattered across the abyssal plains are polymetallic nodules, potato-sized rocks rich in cobalt, nickel, and rare earth elements. These are the raw materials required for every EV battery, smartphone, and guidance system on Earth. China is moving from exploration to occupation. Their strategy involves autonomous swarms, fleets of robotic drones that can scour the seabed cheaply and efficiently. More ambitious still are the plans for a deep-sea station in the South China Sea, a permanent habitat operating at depths that would crush a nuclear submarine.
In contrast, the United States has designated the trench a national monument, focusing on conservation and mapping. It is a strategy of protection first. But in the brutal logic of geopolitics, preservation often struggles against extraction. The winner of this race controls the supply chain of the future. The deep sea is the ultimate global commons, and right now the treaties governing it are fragile. We are witnessing a silent scramble for territory that no human can walk on. There is a catch, a terrifying one. The abyssal ecosystem operates in slow motion. Creatures here live for centuries, growing millimeter by millimeter. When we send industrial mining gear down to harvest these nodules, we don't just take rocks, we create underwater dust storms. Sediment plumes can drift for kilometers, burying ancient ecosystems alive. We risk wiping out the very biological library we are trying to read before we've opened the first book. And we are already leaving our mark. When explorer Victor Vescovo reached the deepest point of the ocean, he didn't find monsters, he found a plastic bag. We have polluted the one place on Earth we have barely touched. Microplastics are now woven into the flesh of amphipods 6 miles down. Industrial chemicals banned decades ago have settled here, poisoning the food web at its foundation. The Mariana Trench is more than resource. It is a mirror. The chemical-eating life forms down there, thriving in the dark, feeding on methane, are our best analog for life on the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. By studying the abyss, we prepare to explore the cosmos, but we are standing at a crossroads. One path leads to a gold rush mentality, a reckless plunder that destroys the ocean's ability to regulate our climate, releasing megatons of stored carbon and methane, triggering a catastrophe we cannot reverse. The other path is the one we took with the International Space Station: collaboration, stewardship, treating the deep ocean not as a treasure chest to be looted, but as a heritage to be understood. The technology to exploit the deep is ready. The maps are being drawn. The powers are moving into position. The secrets of the Mariana Trench have slept in the dark for millions of years. Now that we have woken them up, the question remains: will this discovery save our future, or will it be the thing that finally breaks it?